Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining in for another episode of The Creatives Podcast, highlighting fashion and film. I am one of your co-hosts, Simone Campbell.
And I'm your other co-host, Tevin Brown. And today we have the founder of Towering Stone. Now, Towering Stone is a men's luxury fashion brand. Oh my goodness.
There's so much to say, right?
There's so much to say.
He's so successful.
I think because it's finding the strength to have the words, because Towering Stone also focuses on the strength and resilience of the indigenous Pueblo culture in its clothing. And seeing some of it online, doing my research, they're absolutely gorgeous. We have LOREN ARAGON. LOREN, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. Appreciate it.
I guess getting kind of started, I know I stumbled my words during the intro there. With your fashion brand, Towering Stone, how did that get started?
Well, it's a pretty good bit of history for me. But first of all, I just want to greet everyone traditionally, as we normally do. So, Kwatsi Hopa, Kaito Hopatsi, that's our traditional salutation in Keres, which I wished everyone a happy evening. Hope everyone's doing well. Gave my hello, followed by my name, my given name in Keres, which is Evergreen, and my clan identity, which is the Antelope clan, and where I'm from, Acoma Pueblo. So with that, thank you for allowing me to be here today, showcase, share my work, share my story. I go back to start my journey. I guess it started back in Acoma Pueblo, where I was born and raised the first 18 years of my life. I went to school on the reservation, my mother being my first teacher, teacher in arts and teacher at our local community school, and went through there for the first through up to 8th grade, and then went on to high school, Grants High School, nearby town. Yeah. And was always in the arts, was always into the arts, was always a nerd as well. I did a lot of growing up around mechanical things. My uncle, my grandfather owned a mechanical shop, so really did a lot of things like that. Legos were always a thing for me, and just creative things. My mother was really kind of kept me engaged in being creative. So, and I like to say I was brought up with a good balance of both traditional and modern upbringing. My grandfather being the traditionalist in the family, really keeping me connected and teaching me about who we are as Acoma people, and what we our purpose in life. Really kind of to sum that up. But after high school, went on to Arizona State University, where I actually studied mechanical engineering. So I'm a degree mechanical engineer. Oh, wow. That some people find interesting, thinking that all my schooling was coming from fashion, but no, I actually started out engineering, and did that for about 14 some years in Phoenix, Arizona, after I finished from Arizona State. And art was always in the background, though. It was always my release to just relax, get the creative side of the brain going. And illustration was always my thing. My weapon of choice is today still a pencil or a pen, and just to write down or draw down images and get things out of my head and just download it onto a piece of paper. So that was always in the background, and I actually used my art to get me through school. Started out a small greeting card company, doing a lot of illustrations and selling those at little shows that my family always attended. And in that process of becoming a professional mechanical engineer, got married, and the wife and I started the greeting card company as kind of an official business. And we worked together to highlight my illustrations, and she had done some just some more artistic borders, scrapbooking around the designs that I drew, and so that kind of propelled us, and it was a good little side income gig. Nice. And but again, always was just interested in art, and my first real exposure and real immersion into native arts was a visit to the Santa Fe Indian Market This was about 2009. And just seeing how a lot of artists were incorporating technology and art together was the big inspiration for me. So the big turning point in my career, so to speak, really got into it, really wanted to do something that was me in that regard, because I had the mechanical engineering background, technology and art, and I really wanted to find a way to fuse that together. And I was fortunate to grow up with a lot of artistic people in my family. I have an uncle who is a metalsmith and taught me a lot with silver. And my grandfather was a carver. He did a lot of carving, even in a lot of the structures that are on the Yakima Reservation. He had his handiwork in a lot of those places.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of grandmothers and aunts that did pottery work, which is what Yakima Pueblo is mostly known for. Their fine art, thin walled pottery. And I always wanted to do that as part of my artistic journey, but it was just living away from home and having to go do all the digging for the mining for the clay and the minerals and all that for the art was just a little too much for me at the time. So found alternatives to that. The gourd was a big thing in Arizona, so got turned on to wood burning and did a lot of gourd work, which started the sculpture side of things for me. And with the help of family, was able to be a part of the Santa Fe Indian market for the first time back in 2012, 2013. So that's, I think, where more of the exposure of my work came from. And what I was doing at the time was a two-dimensional art, sculpture and jewelry. And it wasn't until maybe a couple of years from after that, that my art was getting a little more recognized, a lot more by my friends, especially asking to see my work. That'd be cool in a t-shirt or something I could wear, to represent your work. So, and just, the universe aligned. A good buddy of mine from back in grade school or elementary, he was starting up a printing business in Phoenix. So we connected, and I gave him my first designs to print, and that really set off the fashion side of things for me, and was really kind of the time when I started considering doing that more than engineering. So what I like to say is I turned from geek to chic.
That's the tagline for the episode.
So it just became kind of like research, and being an engineer, I did a lot of the same kind of things to progress this career. And it was a lot of research into discovering how textiles were made, and how I could customize them for my work, because I found a lot of fabrics in fabric stores, but none were very specific to Yakima. I mean, you find native print, but they're just a hodgepodge of different designs, and they're not truly Yakima, or they don't say they're authentically Yakima or have an identity. So I took it upon myself to just start developing my own designs, and looked at how I could get those designs printed for me so that I could use them in my work. And once I did that and discovered that, that's really what took off. And that was probably about 2014. And at the time, it was just my name doing the work. But in that time frame, we had gone by the name Akanav as the greeting card company, because I'm Yakima, my wife was Navajo.
Oh, that's
or is Navajo. And so we collaborated with that name, and that's what became the fashion brand name that kicked me off with women's wear, women's couture, evening wear in fashion. And living in Phoenix, I discovered Phoenix Fashion Week, and they had been showcasing all that time with various designers locally, and actually internationally at the time. And to my surprise, there was no Native American representation on that runway. And it's like, we're surrounded by Navajo people, Apache, the Pima people in there, and Hopi just nearby. And why is there no representation there? And in that time frame too, I discovered cultural appropriation. Other designers, non-native designers, representing in Native American art culture on the runway, but very inappropriately as well.
Yeah.
So it was really more that kind of was the motivation to really put our own narrative, or put at least to start something to put narrative back, or give narrative back to our people, Native people, and be able to showcase on our own, who we are and represent ourselves properly. So looked into becoming part of that, and I did not know at the time, but it's a whole educational thing. You go through a boot camp, literally, like it's about 3 years of education crammed into 4 months in this Phoenix Fashion Week journey. And so it's just an accelerated educational program to really boost selling your product, selling your fashion. And it's all based, like the creativity is what gets you in. It puts your foot in the door, and they look at, evaluate you and say, is this something that we can sell, And being that they've never seen Native fashion or they saw it for the first time, and how it was crafted with these couture designs, they were really interested. So jumped on that boat and did the whole boot camp thing, and which was a big wow. It was a lot of and it's true. It's real life. It's real life. Doing all the things to get yourself noticed, and writing up press releases, inviting the right people, finding your own customer, finding a customer, and targeting that person to be at your shows, or advertising to that person. So learned a lot just business-wise in that. So and that really is what pushed me over the top to become a true entrepreneur in that. So about 2016, dropped engineering, moved 100% to fashion, and it's been driving that fashion business ever since. In the first year I did the boot camp. I came in runner-up, but I had an invite to try it again the next year, and this was 2017, 2018, and I became Couture Designer of the Year for Phoenix Fashion Week under the brand.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And what really propelled me after that was this collaboration I did with Walt Disney World. I did a one-of-a-kind design that they bought for their exhibition at Epcot Center, which was called Creating Traditions, Change, and Innovation in American Indian Art. And the dress that they chose or had me make for them was displayed as a centerpiece to this whole exhibition, which was really awesome.
What a special opportunity too.
Yeah, totally. So, and it was about that time that Disney was starting to understand cultural appropriation as well in their films and everything, starting to make that kind of change to have more proper representation. And so it really was, I think, the peak height of that for me, with that collaboration, and it really just opened up a lot of doors for a lot of other things.
I bet.
And it was a great run until COVID hit. So
as it was for most.
So everything went quiet, and in that time for me, there was a lot of life changes. A divorce happened, and other life changes happened, and just really had to reestablish myself in New Mexico. I had moved back to New Mexico in that time, and masks making was what really kept the business alive. Just again, speaking to how we use a lot of prayer in our design work and in a lot of the things that we create. So that was really what helped with that. Just keeping some kind of unity with people. It was kind of an ugly time too, just socially. So we really wanted to promote, still the unity and being there together for each other to get through those tough times. So the mask making again really propelled us through that rough time, and really just again we just moved home to be closer to family. I have my mother and my aunt who were my very first teachers in sewing. And they contributed to a lot of that as well, and it was a very interesting time, and just a lot of change in just looking at fashion as well, and a lot of people were starting to catch on to fashion, and it was an interesting time. Even though we had to socially distance, it really did progress a lot of Native fashion. There was a lot of it because people were just seeing it on social media. Social media was a hot hot item to be just throwing your designs out there.
Oh, yeah, and people are looking at their phone all day long.
All day long, exactly. Yeah,
do.
yeah. Well, yeah. So people really caught on to that, and that was really great to see native fashion progress like that. And it was back in 2023 when things started we started coming back out from under our shells, under the rocks, and getting back into public eye. That I decided to start looking at menswear and start thinking that route, because ACONAV unfortunately started to dissolve, and I just really wanted to keep on with the creativity. And I finally actually found my own style as well. Like you know, just being behind the scenes with women's wear, you know, a lot of guys too were coming to me, you know, why aren't you making anything for the guys? You know, I want to look good as my lady, or that sort of thing. You know, those prints are cool. That'd look good on a shirt or something, a suit, or so. Really rethought a lot of things, and again, I had a good team that I put together, and they were the ones that really kind of pushed me into doing that too. So. Towering Stone was born in late 2023, and created the LLC here in New Mexico, and we based it out of Santa Fe. We now have a showroom there in Santa Fe, a studio in Albuquerque, Bernalillo, where all the creativity happens. And that's what's one thing that really is great about the business now, is that everything that I make is made by me, is made by our hands. And
wow.
My team, not just me, but myself and my team. And so it's authentically native made here in New Mexico, which is great. And a lot of people that catch on to that, it's just turns them on to the whole brand. And the brand itself was an homage to our how we're brought up to really embrace and enforce our matrilineal culture. ACONAV was heavily based on the matrilineal ideas of our culture at ACOMA. So that's really what was the foundation for that fashion brand, and then is still the foundation for the Towering Stone brand. Again, just a celebration of the masculinity side that we rarely see, or is kind of hidden. It's kind of a mystery, which is great. And Towering Stone is a symbol of our resilience. It's a story, or it's a look back at our history of how we've endured through time. It's Towering Stone represents the structures that still stand today, that are centuries old, and that's just a symbol of our resilience. You know, we're still here. We're still a represented culture. We're still thriving. We're still moving forward into the future with so many things. And the brand name represents that, and it describes a lot of things that have also happened through our history, and again, just how we've endured through those tough times to be where we are today. And I want that idea to be, that strength, that resilience, to be instilled in the things that I make. So that's that's what people see, and that's the brand loyalty that or the people that are loyal to the brand. It's what they see, and that's what they get. So I learned a lot of that through the Phoenix Fashion Week
for sure
boot camp, and just how to instill those ideas into a brand. You know, when you buy Nike, you don't buy the shoe, you buy the idea that you can just do it. When you buy other things, there's a story behind it, and there's you don't buy it for the product, you buy it for what they represent. So that's really how I want to present Towering Stone moving forward. Wow. So that's incredible. Brings us to today. So with a lot of with a couple collections already in the brand, under the brand. 2024 was a time to just rebuild and really build it up to that. So I've showcased in the first Indigenous Fashion Week that happened in Santa Fe last year.
Nice.
Got back into Phoenix Fashion Week with the new brand. I'm kind of I guess alumni, so they'll allow us to show.
Oh, perfect.
And so that was great to be back there for the first time in a long time, probably in the last 4 or 5 years.
And then I saw, also kind of like doing my research, I saw you recently had designed outfits for a couple of the actors for Dark Winds as well.
Correct, yeah. That was the cover shoot for the April issue of Cowboys and Indians magazine.
Oh, sweet.
Dark Winds
Wow.
cast was brought in to represent several designers. So it was a big collaboration with a lot of jewelry artists, clothing designers, and accessories. All native, all local, which is great. So I had the opportunity and pleasure of outfitting Kyle Gordon and Zahn McLaren for the cover shoot, and Zahn had actually seen me at Towering Stone or at the Indigenous Fashion Week or Native Fashion Week in Santa Fe. He was in the crowd and gave me a shout out because that was the only native. I was only the native men's brand on the runway. So so that was great that he actually gave me some recognition, and so that again was another boost for the brand, and hopefully we can collaborate on a couple more things moving into the future.
I feel like we just followed the whole arc of your creative life, at least up to this point.
Right.
It's phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing. So I am curious for the thing that has really stuck with me most is your perseverance and your persistence and the openness and curiosity that you've met every single step that you've tread through your journey. So what advice would you give to young creatives or like young Native individuals who want to invest their time and energy into the creative industry, especially fashion?
All right. Well, I go back to the geek to chic part of it. I'm a hardcore Star Wars nerd. And the one thing that actually propelled me and the advice that I give to moving forward is try not. This is a quote from Yoda in the Empire Strikes Back episode. He tells Luke, try not, do or do not. There is no try. So that alone, I think, really set me to down my path, because when you try something, you instill a little bit of doubt in yourself already. And doubt, as most of us know, is the killer of all dreams.
Oh, yeah.
So just do it. Just back to the Nike thing. Just do it. Just do what you feel is your path, is your happiness. Really, do what what makes you happy, and that's really what I, in the hardest of times, sit back and jump back to my own words. I have that quote all over my walls, so it's framed. So. I take a lesson from Master Yoda, which is kind of interesting. And I'm a big movie buff, so I watch a lot of movies, so I get a lot of inspirational things from that, or just kind of hidden gem quotes. But yeah, it's really just what makes you happy, and really moving away from a lot of criticism, not taking anything personally. It's you. It's your identity. When you create something, it's a part of you. You put a lot of you into the things that you want people to see, and you really have to get beyond the idea that not everyone's going to like it, but you're going to find those really key people in your life that are going to help you with all that. And really there is a lot of effort in actually, dreams don't just come true overnight. You really have to put the work into it as well, and to make it come true. That's one thing that I think a lot of us miss, is we do this thing. A lot of people say it's great, but then it doesn't move anywhere, or doesn't move the needle for you. But you have to find people too that like what you do, and that's the whole part with the whole branding. I never realized that. I done a lot of fashion shows prior to being part of that boot camp, and I didn't sell a whole lot. I just wasn't bringing the right people at the time.
Community is huge.
Yeah, totally. And so when you find those people, then you start seeing the change, and the people that gravitate toward you is phenomenal. This is a lot of creatives that want to be a part of that, and so you latch onto that and work with those. So I'm very fortunate to have found the key people in my team and the key people that want to work and help me progress. So it's a group effort.
Always.
For sure.
I love that so much, and I always feel like we never have enough time because there's so much more.
Totally.
As we're starting to round out, I definitely want to ask where people can see your work, purchase your work as well.
Yeah, it's still very young. The team is still growing, and I'm trying to rebuild everything, like I said. But Towering Stone, at Towering Stone, is where you can find a lot of things with IG on IG. It's kind of where everything starts from and goes outward. We have a website. It's toweringstone.com, and again, we have our showroom in Santa Fe, which is just adjacent from the oh my gosh, the big hotel there down in the square.
The one.
Yeah. We're on Water or on Water Street, so you can find us downtown. We're at the El Centro Mall, inside the El Centro Mall.
Sweet.
Inside and upstairs. So, and one thing, since it's fashion and film, the one thing I didn't mention is working with a local production company called Mesa Mountain Film. We actually produced what we're hoping is going to be the first native fashion film. It's
really?
a short. It's about a 10-minute long film that we just finished filming late last year, and now it's kind of in the final wrap-up stages, and a couple things we have to reshoot, but it features my work all in fashion. We saw these films out in the European circuit, in these fashion films that happen as part of the fashion weeks out in like Milan and Paris. I guess there's a whole fashion industry that happens in the background where these films that advertise the work of the designers comes out, and we saw a few of these and we were inspired.
So we're going to do that.
Really, yes. So
that's perfect.
So Orlando Skidmore, who's one of the founders for Mesa Mountain Film, he and I worked together with several other creatives just to get a story together, and it's called Made for Her, and it should be making its debut hopefully later this year. And again, it features a lot of my work that I did with the couture designs under Acronav, and is featured throughout the film with the whole story. Is a little forbidden love story, kind of cliche, but again, it has a native twist to it. So,
absolutely, of course.
But we put our whole native twist to it, and it's in this otherworld realm, and just from what we've produced so far, it looks great. I love how it came together. And,
absolutely.
Really hope it catches on at a lot of these film festivals we want to.
Of course. And
post it in.
Absolutely, and we wish for your success in all of your many endeavors, and
Appreciate
we just
it.
want to extend our sincere gratitude for you being on this show with us.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Phenomenal. Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in tonight. Also, always remember to like and subscribe. We need that. Thank you for all of your support. And thank you to our fantastic sponsors, to Studio 519 for the amazing space. And thank you to my incredible co-host, Tevin Brown.
And thank you to my incredible co-host, Simone Campbell.
And thank you, Loren, again for being here.
Absolutely.
And have a fantastic night, everybody.